A NHL insider talks about the extension talks with Elias Lindholm and the Vancouver Canucks, and this Canucks player is turning into a star. I'll get into that later on this episode, but before I start, I just want to say to the 98% of you guys that aren't subscribed, I know this channel is new, but if you're enjoying this daily Canucks content, make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all season long giving you updates from trades, rumors, rookies, anything you can think of around the Canucks. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic, which is Canucks are not in a rush to extend Lindholm. Now, this did come out from Pierre LeBrun. He said the Vancouver Canucks are in no rush to sign the newly acquired forward Elias Lindholm to a long-term extension. He continues on to say that the Canucks would love to sign Lindholm to an extension, but want to give him time to adjust to his new team and home. The Canucks would love to sign him long term, but they realize this player has to adjust to new surroundings. This did come from LeBron last Thursday, but he does continue on. The reality is there is no rush to get into the conversation. All things being equal, I think we'll wait until the season's over for the Canucks and his representatives to get going on that conversation. He does continue to talk and say something to note is we can confirm that the Canucks not only had interest in him at the deadline, but tried to acquire him all the way back into last summer. Around the time Craig Conroy took over the GM job of the Calgary Flames, the Canucks showed interest in Lindholm, which is interesting because they didn't know they'd be in the first place months later when they got him. It tells you they view him as a long-term fit if they can make it work. So obviously he is talking about Elias Lindholm. He's on the last year's deal, a $4.8 million cap hit. He's 29 years old. He plays center. He can play wing, right-handed, currently plays with Vancouver Canucks, of course. And this just shows you that the Canucks are just focused on this season. Obviously, they acquired Elias Lindholm. As I said in these articles, that he wanted to acquire him. Patrik Allvin expressed his interest towards a guy like Lindholm dating back to this past summer and last season. So getting him to an extension is going to be quite tricky. Obviously, Lindholm is going to want a lot of money. I did cover in a recent video, I believe a couple days ago, where Lindholm's camp was asking to upwards of north of $9 million on an extension when he was in Calgary. If this team has winning culture, they make it far into the playoffs, they prove to Lindholm that this is a home for him for the rest of his career, I can definitely see them taking less. So when you do look at Elias Lindholm, in 4 games for the Canucks, he has 2 goals. Of course, these 2 goals were scored in the same game when they first got him. And then you look in Calgary and Kuzmenko scored for them. But overall, Lindholm did score 2 quick goals when he joined the Vancouver Canucks. Since then, he has been held pointless, a -4 over this span. He has been good on faceoffs. He has 27 faceoff wins, 20 losses. So he is hovering just under 60%. With the Flames the same season, he had 9 goals, 23 assists for 32 points. But the big thing to look at Lindholm is obviously the 22 goals, 42 goals, 40 points for his point per game season when he put up 82, 19, 29, 27. This guy knows how to put up points. It's just a matter of time where they find he fits in this lineup and really to just figure out where he works the best. So what's your guys' thoughts on this? Are you fine with signing Lindholm when it goes into the offseason? Would you rather them kind of look at the extension now before he either heats up or if he slows down and you take the risk of signing him if he doesn't fit? And what's your thoughts on this with next season, with the cap crunch being a little tighter than usual, where you have so many UFAs and RFAs to be signed? And that's where it really gets interesting when you look at the next topic, which is Hoglander is emerging as a threat, or if you want to say as a star. So this was following last game when Hoglander was placed into the top 6. We were yelling skate at him as to skate, laughed Connor Garland. He was cruising up the middle, and a few seconds later, he has a highlight reel goal. He's been great for us all year, and it's nice to see him get rewarded because he's been playing so well lately. And the big thing with Hoglander is just last season we seen him get demoted to the AHL. He built off this. He came into the season hungry to stay in the Canucks lineup, and since then he has been really making a big push and a real reason to keep him into this top 6. Now, when you do look at this is just Hoglander talking about his experience from last year. Of course, when I got sent down the first day, it was like, beep, recalled Hoglander. But at some point, you just have to realize to make the best of the situation and trust that they send you down to get better. Now, when you do look at Hoglander, of course, is a Vancouver Canuck. He was drafted by them 40th overall in the 2019 draft. He is on a current cap hit, and this is where things get interesting, of a 2-year deal at $1.1 million. So you get this guy in this season and next for just $1.1 million, And with the way he's playing and his potential, this is looking like an absolute steal, not for this year, but for next year when the cap does get a little tighter. So as I said, Hoglander is a left wing, 5'9", 185 pounds. I'm sure everyone's really familiar with him. And when you do look at his stats, as I was saying last year, he got sent down to the AHL. As you can see here, he just played 25 games. He had 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points, -4, 8 blocks, 21 hits. When he got sent down to the AHL, he had 45 games played, 14 goals, 18 assists for 32 points in the AHL regular season. He continued on to the playoffs just to play 6 games with 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. Now, when you do look at this season alone, and this is where I really want to focus on this, is in just 11 minutes time on ice, which is below what he played last year, he has 16 goals, 6 assists for 22 points, a +13, 15 blocks, 49 hits. Of course, physicality is not going to be a strong suit, but I really want to focus on in just 51 games, he has 16 goals while playing in the bottom 6. Obviously, the Canucks have been a deep team. The bottom 6 has been outstanding, but he hasn't been playing with any outstanding playmakers. Obviously, you have guys like Sam Lafferty that can be down there, Teddy Bluger, Dakota Joshua. You have a lot of players in this bottom 6, but no one that's going to elevate his game where he has to elevate himself. So we've seen him promoted to the top 6. He looked outstanding in this last game. I'm sure we're going to see this if you're watching today with the game tonight against Chicago. But this is where things get interesting. This guy has 16 goals, as I said, on a line with not much playmaking where he really creates himself. But how would this look if he played with a guy like Elias Pettersson, a guy like JT Miller, a guy like Elias Lindholm? There's so many options up top that can really create for others, where if you slide him in, I truly believe that Hoglander would have a 30-goal season at this point. And if next season he really continues to emerge as a star player that once looked like he might be suited for the AHL for the next year or two, this could be massive in the sense where you get a cheap contract, a guy that can step in, really dominate, and just fill out this top 6. If you extend a guy like Elias Lindholm, maybe this is a line mate. If you have a guy like Pettersson, maybe this is, well, obviously you're going to have Pettersson. This is going to be the top priority. But you slide Hoglander as one of these guys, you get a sample size now between now and the playoffs or from now until training camp to really see where he fits. And I'm willing to put money that we see a 25 to 30 goal season from Hoglander. It could be this season where I don't think it will be, but next season for sure, especially if he stays in this top 6. So what's your guys' thoughts? You think Hoglander is going to be a guy that's going to emerge as a superstar, just a star player, a perfect role player? What's your thoughts on his potential? How many goals do you think he can score? And what's your thoughts on this Lindholm extension talk? But that'd be it for this episode of Canucks Digest. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down, like, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends. We love reading the comments here. It's been outstanding just seeing how this channel is growing. Obviously, this is a new channel, but we want to share all the information from the Canucks. Like I said, prospects, game recaps, anything you can think of. If you have any suggestions like that, you can leave it down below. And with that, take care.